The Year to Their podcast, it's time to start the show. Be sure to hold on tight, here we go. Exploring all the different Disney destinations. Year to Their, it's time to start the fun.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Year to Their podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week. I am your host, Phil Roundlick, and every week I will bring you a different Walt Disney World word and then give you some background, some history, some tips, some tricks about that Walt Disney World word. So let's get right into it. This week's Walt Disney World Word of the Week is brought to you by the letter M. Of course, it's M for Mickey. I debated all week going in a different direction with this one, but as Walt Disney said, it all started with a mouse, so the M has to be all about Mickey Mouse. So first, I'm going to give you a little bit of history on Walt Disney's and the Disney Company's most famous character, and then I'm going to go into some detail about where you can find Mickey Mouse these days in Walt Disney World. So Mickey Mouse was kind of born out of necessity for Walt Disney, right? He already had a very famous character named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit in the 1920s. See, Oswald, Walt Disney's creation, was a hit, and Walt headed out to New York City in the spring of 1928 to visit Charles Mintz. Now, Charles Mintz was his boss. He worked for Universal Studios, and Walt took that trip from California to New York City to talk to Charles Mintz and say, hey, listen, we're pulling in a lot of money with Oswald. He's doing really well. I kind of want to renegotiate my deal here, and I'd like for you to increase the budget for the Oswald cartoons. Well, unfortunately for Walt, Charles Mintz didn't quite see eye to eye with him on that. I imagine the conversation kind of went like this, so humor me for a second, because obviously I wasn't there. Walt walks in and says, hey, Charles, you know what? We just need a little bit more money for the Oswald cartoon. Charles Mintz, unfortunately, says, you know what, Walt? That's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, I'm going to reduce your budget by 20%. Oh, and by the way, Walt, that Oswald character that you love so much that you're making your money on, you don't own the rights to him. As a matter of fact, I own the rights to him, and I already hired away all your best animators, except for that one guy, Iwerks, who won't come and work for Universal. But everybody else, I own now. So you're going to go back to California, you're going to take your budget cut, you're going to make the Oswald cartoons, and you're going to like it. See, I don't know if that's exactly how it went, but I like to think it went that way. Anyway, Walt Disney's the kind of guy that, I don't know, he always lands on his feet, right? So he writes a telegram to his brother Roy out in California, tells him he's taking a train back, tells him they don't have Oswald, they have no money coming in, that all the animators are gone, and they're in trouble. But he assures them, we'll figure something out, we're going to make this work. And it is on that train ride back to California where legend has it, Walt was trying to figure out a new character to come up with, and he invented a mouse character that went on to become, you guessed it, Mickey Mouse. Now that's a little bit debated to this day. I believe it's Iwerks' son claimed that his dad actually created the character Mickey Mouse. There's also a story that Walt had created Mickey and he named him Mortimer, and his wife said, you know what? His wife Lillian said, you know what? How about the name Mickey? It just sounds friendlier than Mortimer Mouse. So Mickey it was. And Walt Disney had Iwerks sketch out and flesh out the character of Mickey Mouse while they were both still under contract for Universal Studios. So many people believe that the first ever cartoon made with Mickey Mouse was Steamboat Willie in 1928. And that is technically true. That's the first one that got released and distributed to theaters. But actually, before Steamboat Willie was released, there were two other Disney Mickey Mouse cartoons that were made. His first appearance was actually for a test audience in Plain Crazy, and he also had an appearance in The Galloping Gaucho, but neither of those cartoons ended up getting a distributor, so they weren't technically Mickey Mouse's first official debut. So Steamboat Willie debuted on November 18th, 1928 in New York City. It was actually the first cartoon ever released where the sound was actually synced up with the cartoon itself. Of course, Steamboat Willie was a huge hit, and the rest is Disney history. Now, I could go on talking for another hour plus about only Mickey Mouse's origin, but I also wanted to get to where you can find Mickey in the parks today. So here we go. I'm going to start off with where you can find Mickey Mouse at the Magic Kingdom. So in the Magic Kingdom, you can find Mickey in the Town Square Theater. Now this Mickey is very, very cool. He is the talking Mickey Mouse more often than not. So my recommendation for this one is to always get fast passes to meet Mickey on Main Street in the Town Square Theater, because if you have a fairly common first name and you have fast passes, he should be able to say your name and talk to you. It's a very, very cool experience. Now, if you want to meet Mickey Mouse in Epcot, you can head over to the Epcot character spot, where he also meets with Minnie and with Goofy over there. Again, that's a fast passable attraction. If you have little kids especially, I'd recommend getting a fast pass for that one. You get to spend a few minutes with them. That's really cool. Over at Hollywood Studios, you can meet Mickey in his Sorcerer Mickey outfit, or Sorcerer's Apprentice outfit, I should say. And at Disney's Animal Kingdom, you can meet Mickey over at the Adventurers Outpost on Discovery Island. Okay, so now where can you meet Mickey Mouse that is outside the parks? So for character dining, you can meet Mickey at Chef Mickey's, of course. That's at the Contemporary. You can meet Mickey at the Garden Grill in Epcot's The Land Pavilion. That's kind of a lesser known, less popular one. By the way, the food at the Garden Grill is fantastic. So if you want a character meal that's kind of, not as popular as the Chef Mickey one, that's a really good one to choose. You can also meet Mickey over at Mickey's Backyard Barbecue at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. That's a fun show to go see, again, especially if you have little kids. Mickey also shows up at Ohana for breakfast. That's at Disney's Polynesian Resort, of course, and he meets there with Pluto, Lilo, and Stitch. Or Mickey also pops in over at the Tusker House restaurant in Disney's Animal Kingdom Africa section. And over there, he meets with Donald, with Daisy, I believe, and with Goofy. And lastly, even though it's not a Disney resort, you can meet Mickey, Goofy, and Minnie over at the Four Seasons for breakfast at the Good Morning Breakfast with Goofy and his pals. So that is going to do it for this week's Walt Disney World Word of the Week. As always, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I know this was a very predictable letter for M, but honestly, I couldn't let the first M word of the week go without putting Mickey Mouse in there. So I really hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, just please share it with someone. Tell that Mickey Mouse lover in your family that there's a perfect podcast out there for them to listen to. Well, hopefully it's perfect. I mean, nothing's really perfect, right? But hopefully they will like it just like you do. And just remember, there will be a new Ear to There podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week, each and every Wednesday morning, as well as the regular episode of the Ear to There podcast each and every Monday morning. So until next time, thank you so much again for listening. Have a great week, and bye-bye.